hope you are enjoying the season leading up to the holidays. And today I'm doing a video on a famous Arizona resident. I'm doing a special on Artist Ted DeGrazia. Now, Ted DeGrazia was a Southwestern artist who was born in Morenci, which is a little town near Tucson, in 1909, and lived in Arizona his whole life until 1982 when he passed away. For more than 50 years, Ted DeGrazia created Southwestern art depicting scenes that you would see here locally in the Southwest. He often did subjects like Native Americans, horses, children, angels, many pictures of Jesus Christ, and the Superstition Mountains. He worked in a variety of different media. He did a lot of paintings on oil. He did watercolor. He did sculpture, ceramics, paintings on furniture, some bronze sculpture, murals, and even stuff on bone. So very interesting. DeGrazia observed the traditions and rituals of the people that he encountered on many of his trips to Mexico, and just from where he was living in the Southwest, which was mostly in Tucson, but he did travel to the Superstition Mountains, Apache Junction, and the southwestern towns near Tucson. He observed these traditions and rituals and local narratives, and that is what inspired him to create his art. And these customs and settings that he would observe are often depicted in his artwork. Now, I have a couple of interesting quotes that I read that DeGrazia had made. Well, first of all, he described himself. He was quite an interesting character, and once he described himself as not quite saint, not quite devil, but maybe a mix of the two of them in between. And one of his quotes about art, he said that not to know a rule and to break it is bad art, but to know a rule and break it is good art. And it is because only by knowing the rules and breaking them will one develop their own individual style. So another quote that he made about art was, he said, "It's not how much paint from the tube that I put on the canvas or even how much I take away from the canvas. I work for the feeling of the piece." So a lot of his artwork did come across with this feeling or mood that DeGrazia had when he was putting the painting together. So I want to tell you a little bit about his museum, because in 1965, DeGrazia opened the DeGrazia Gallery in the Sun in Tucson. And this is a place that would be a great road trip, or if you're visiting Tucson for the day, might be a place to stop by. I've never been there, but after reading about it today, I definitely have that on my list of places to go in 2022. It is a 10-acre historic district. It's in Tucson. It's in the Santa Catalina mountain range. And this is what DeGrazia said about the gallery. He says, "The gallery was designed by me. I wanted to have a feeling of the Southwest, and I wanted to build it so that my paintings would feel good inside." Now that's very interesting. In the gallery, and I'm going to put a link to the gallery that has the website, the address, and all the information on it in case you would like to see it. But the gallery, there are 6 permanent collections of art, and there are over 15,000 pieces of DeGrazia's work from his lifetime. And not only you have the little gallery and museum, but right next to it would be his childhood home. And there's also his grave site. And then it's like a 10-acre historic area. It's been declared historic by Tucson. And right next to it is, there's a gift shop on the site also. And there is what they call the Mission of the Sun. Now, the Mission of the Sun was built in 1952. It was in honor of Father Kino. If any know anything about Arizona history, Father Kino was a instrumental missionary in Arizona. And you can read about that in the history books. And the mission was also dedicated to Our Lady of Guadalupe. So it has this open air ceiling. And what is interesting is DeGrazia said this about the Mission in the Sun. He said, "The roof is open to the sky as it should be. You can't just close up God in a stuffy room." So again, DeGrazia was quite the character. But for me, I'm going to tell you the story about what made him quite the character that he was, because in 1976, May 12th, 1976, DeGrazia got mad about taxes. And this is something that a lot of people I know are upset about or don't like. And the main thing he was talking about was inheritance tax. Now, you have inheritance tax, probably one of the most unfair tax ever created by the IRS. And what he was complaining about, which is true, he said, I can make my art and donate it to a museum, and all I can write off is the material, the canvas, the paint that it took to create that. That's all I get on a tax break. But he says, if I have pieces of art and I die, and I want to leave it to my 4 children, my children have to sell my art in order to pay the inheritance tax to the IRS. They can't keep his own art. They have to sell it in order to pay taxes to the IRS, and that made him mad. The other thing was about inventory tax. Occasionally the IRS talks about taxing businesses on inventory. Well, that's also unfair, because you have inventory sitting there that's not sold, and now the IRS decides they want, 50% of the value of the inventory. Well, where's the business owner or the artist going to come up with this 50% of the value that hasn't sold? Well, you have to take out a loan to pay the IRS on something that may or not be sellable in the future. And then say something happens, it loses its value. Is the IRS going to give you a credit on that? Probably not. So anyhow, this all mostly came from inheritance tax, and what he said, that his children were going to have to sell his own artwork in order to pay the inheritance tax. And then he said, if God gave me the gift in order to create these pieces, then I also have the gift of being able to destroy the pieces. And then he took a posse, they called it, of about maybe 12 or more of his friends. They got on a bunch of horses, put up maybe 100 or so of his paintings, and took a trek out into the Superstition Mountains. Now, I know there was a lot of liquor and drinking involved. Anyhow, he went on this trip to the Superstitions, took all the paintings and put them up in like a pyre, in teepee form pyre, doused it in gasoline, doused it in liquor, said he had to get drunk in order to do this. Then he took a match, struck it against his trousers, lit it, threw the match at the paintings, and watched them all burn. Now, that is the ultimate IRS protest. It's like basically, all right, IRS, now they're worth nothing. Tax me on zero, it's still zero. And he didn't say that, I said that. So there were rumors that during the night, during this expedition, he had taken some paintings and rolled them up and hid them in the Superstition Mountains. There are other rumors that he was so depressed after he had done this, thinking, oh, did I have the right to destroy something that God gave me the ability to do? So he got depressed, maybe wasn't able to paint for the next 3 years. Of course, that's rumors. I do remember the experience as a child, the story that he had done this. He was my dad's hero at the time for doing any kind of protest to the IRS, but that was the story. DeGrazia died in 1982, but he left this legacy of beautiful art. I still go into homes today in Sedona to show, and I see DeGrazia's art on the wall. You will still see them today. Rumor had it that the paintings that were burnt in 1976 were worth $1 million to $1.5 million, and that today, if you wanted to buy one of his pieces, you could get them on auction anywhere between $150 to $6,000. So that's it. That is the story of a local legend here in Arizona. Artist Ted DeGrazia from 1909 to 1982. My name's Dawn Dickenson. My channel is Living in Northern Arizona, where I post a video on an Arizona topic every single week. I sell real estate in the northern half of the state, particularly Sedona, Verde Valley, Flagstaff, and the Prescott area. So if you have a question about real estate, feel free to give me a call. I always put my contact information in the description below, where you could email me, you could text me, you could call me, and I will get back to you. And I have this channel, Living in Northern Arizona. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the thumbs up if you like it. And I hope to see you back here next week when I post a brand new video again. And to all of you out there, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, or whatever holiday it is that you celebrate. And peace to us all next year, the new year, 2022.